This is Radar for On the Radar Entertainment Blog, coming to another edition of MLB Observations of the 2021 season, week 27. This was the final weekend of the baseball season, and I honestly can say I went to all three White Sox games. They won game one, game two, they came back and won game three. They were losing, it was tied, it was raining, and then they lost, so I got enough, of it out of the way of watching at least the final three games of the season. As this year I went to a game in Baltimore, a game in the Bronx in New York, I went to 2 games in Cleveland, and I went to 3 straight games in St. Louis. I didn't get a chance to go to Wrigley this year, or Milwaukee, which was the plan, or Kansas City, Cincinnati, Detroit, or Minneapolis. Those all could be next year. I'm with Milwaukee and Wrigley. It's pretty simple. I just get up on the Red Line in downtown Chicago, and I go up to Wrigleyville, or I get a friend to drive up, or I take the Amtrak train up to Milwaukee. Now, the Reds this year, they've had a little weird thing where they take the backup catcher, Tyler Stephen, who nobody's ever heard of, and they like to play him in the second spot in the lineup, in the middle spot in the lineup. But when you're a backup rookie catcher, you're not like the most offensive talented player. So why is he batting those spots? And then this weekend, they played him in left field twice. I'm like, what are you doing, man? He's a catcher. And then this Schrock dude, Max Schrock dude, he's been playing the outfield when he's an infielder, which makes no sense. And they've thrown a few other infielders this year in the outfield. And the other thing about Schrock is he's not a speedy guy. Why is he batting leadoff? Then the Pirates. They get rid of Adam Frazier, and then there's like a month or two where Newman barely plays. They already got rid of some of their guys before. Like they got rid of Kramer this year, and they got rid of JT Riddle and some other dudes that were on their team. That when they had a gluttony of infield, Eric Gonzalez got hurt. So you're like, okay, cool. Maybe Cucker can play second base or shortstop on a regular basis. Nope. They'll keep playing him in the outfield this year. And then Yoshi Tsugo, who was the first baseman, okay, and they got the Evans dude. They had this guy Craig this year. Colin Moran has been the most healthiest. So they got a lot of corner infielders on this team. So there's no room, because Colin Moran's back and healthy to the last month or so of the season, there's no room for Yoshi Tsugo to play first base or third base. So instead of, I don't know, maybe throw him in left field, they throw him in right field, which he's not suited to play, and they're batting him second when he's not a number 2 hitter. And then Brian Reynolds, despite having Ben Gamel and Anthony Alford this whole entire year for the most part, continue to play him in center field even though he's not a center fielder. Then Michael Chavis, who they picked up towards the end of the season from the Red Sox, he's a third baseman by trade, but they got Key Brian Hayes. They got so many first basemen, as I stated. Nope, they like to play him at second base, which is not his position. And then they at least played him one time at third base at the end of the year. Then Chad Kuhl, one of the only starters from the opening day roster that I heard of, pitching by the bullpens away. Then the Red Sox. Kyle Schwarber is not a number 2 hitter. He's an all-or-nothing power guy. J.D. Martinez, I know in Interleague they screwed you with the last weekend of you're playing the National. So you want to put Schwarber in left field, and you want to put Hunter Renfroe in center field and J.D. Martinez in right. I don't know about that. Schwarber's not a good outfielder. J.D. Martinez is the DH for a reason. And Renfroe's an incredible corner outfielder, but center field, he didn't do that before. Like, if he'd done it before, he may have done it once or twice. Bad idea. Don't do that in the World Series or playoffs. Nationals. Kyle Schwarber, who I just spoke of, is on the Red Sox. There's no need for Juan Soto to play right field because I've seen plenty of games this year where he takes bad routes, makes bad decisions with the ball. Keep him in left field because you got plenty of outfielders that could play all over the place, okay? Then you play Josh Bell in left field, which the reason why the Pirates moved him to first base at the beginning of his career because he's not a good outfielder. And this Fetty dude is one of the only starting pitchers the Nationals have left who's healthy. Why is he pitching on the bullpen? Then you got the Yankees where they did this whole, let's move DJ LeMahieu to third base, not his position. Let's put Giovanni Urshela at shortstop, who only played it briefly with the Yankees, and he hasn't played it every day since he was in Cleveland, and put Gleyber Torres second base, even though he's a shortstop by trade. Okay? Now with DJ LeMahieu hurt, they have Gleyber Torres leading off. That dude is a 30 home run potential dude, not a leadoff hitter. Anthony Rizzo is not a number 2 hitter. And then they're playing Rudado over third base when he's a second baseman. It's like, okay, continue to put either him or LeMahieu at third base, and they're not third basemen. Yankee, what are you doing? Then Orioles, Mountcastle hit the most home runs for a rookie in Orioles history, and he could win Rookie of the Year potentially between him and Garcia and Baddoo. He's not a number 2 hitter, and Hayes, he lost the center field job to Cedric Mullins because he's not a good enough consistent hitter. So why do you think batting him in the middle of the lineup is smart? Then the Blue Jays. Springer's been hurt a lot this year, but he's not a center fielder, and he's not a leadoff hitter. He's potentially a 40 and 100 guy, simply, if he just stays healthy in the back of the lineup. Bichette, he's been a pretty good offensive shortstop in his career, but he's been batting a lot 1 and 2 until this year when you put him fourth. And then Biggio, he's finally back, but you think, okay, cool. Let's put him at third base. Nah, let's put him at first base. The dude has moved all over the place. Keep him in one spot. And Ross Stripling, who they traded for last year, I thought he'd be a big part of the rotation. He's pitching out of the bullpen. Then the Marlins. Lewis Brinson's one of the worst hitters in baseball. He's one of the biggest busts in history. Why is he batting in the middle of the lineup? It's good when Jazz Chisholm or Miguel Rojas bats 1 and 2 because they're speedy contact dudes. But Jazz Chisholm batting third is stupid. Okay, he's a speedy guy. Mets. Lindor batting second when a lot of times Cleveland batted him leadoff or second. But when he bats middle of the lineup, I think he'd have better chance of driving more runs. I felt like he could have had way more RBIs this year. And then Trevor Williams, I thought they got him to pitch in the rotation. He's pitching on the bullpen. Then the Braves. Jock Peterson leading off, good. Albie Osby's batted second once, that's good. But I don't want to see Dansby Swanson bat cleanup. He's not the world's greatest hitter. He's improved a bit, but he's not a cleanup hitter. And then Soler and Freeman are your middle of the order sluggers. They should not be batting 1 and 2. Duval stopped playing in center field. He's not even an outfielder by trade. And they played Arcia once at shortstop. That's cool. But then they used Jesse Chavez as an opener, and he went like 1 or 2 innings. The dude has been a starter and reliever. Just let him go 4 innings. And why choose my pitcher out of bullpen? You sign him to be a starting pitcher. Indian. Hale Ramirez is a backup outfielder, not a 4th or 5th hitter. And then Yu Chang is not a first baseman. Hopefully next year, when Josh Naylor is back, he and Bobby Bradley will be the only guys playing first base because that makes the most sense. Then the Rangers. Kobe Aller is supposed to be a big part of this rotation. And Mike Foltynewicz also they signed to be a big part of the rotation. Why are they both pitching out of bullpen? And why is Jarrell Cotta pitching out of bullpen when he's a starting pitcher? And then we've been over this all season. Daniel Cotta is not a shortstop. He admirably played well enough at third base to fool the voters into a gold glove at third base. And he's not a leadoff for a number 2 hitter, man. 8th. Starling Marte should be batting middle of the lineup. That's what he's been doing his whole career. He's not a number 2 hitter. Chad Pinder, super utility man, not a cleanup hitter. Mark Canha, he's not an outfielder, so left field is okay. But when you put him center field or right field, it's a stretch. And he's a power guy. He was batting leadoff for a good chunk of the year. Then he moved him down to the middle of the lineup where he belongs. But then he said, let's put him second. No. Then Seth Brown makes no sense. If he's good enough to play center field a half a dozen games in the season, that means he's a good enough outfielder. Why is he playing first base? You got enough guys to play first base. Astros. Alvarez should not be playing left field. He's a horrible outfielder. He's a DH. Why waste this DH spot on Chas McCormick when he's a natural-born center fielder who you have for his defense? Then we've been over Salcedo. Altuve's a number 2 hitter, and Brantley's a number 3 hitter. Don't bat him 1 and 2. Brantley's better in the 3 spot. Twins. Byron Buxton was not healthy most of the year, but to switch him back and forth between all over the spot like 1 and 2, just keep him in a consistent spot. Polanco probably would have had under RBIs if you didn't switch him from 1, 2, and 3 or 5 or 6 in the lineup. And then Mitch Garver is not a great all-around hitter, so he's not a number 2 hitter. And Nick Gordon's a shortstop. Stop playing in the outfield. Arise, I would love to bat him second, but he's such a good contact hitter. Leadoff is a pretty good spot for him. Royals. Benintendi's on a cleanup hitter. We know this all season long. He's good maybe the 2 spot or the 7 spot. Stop putting guys like O'Hearn and Dozier in the outfield when you're not. This year you haven't had amazing guys at third base. Munasai's been hurt for most of the year, so why wouldn't you play Dozier at third base? I know that you have Santana, but you traded Horace Soler, so it's like you don't have a guy taking up a DH spot or right field spot, so O'Hearn should be playing first base if you're going to play him. And then Irvin Santana and Kyle Zimmer pitching out a bullpen this year when they didn't have enough starting pitching is silly. I don't think going forward, Munasai is your third baseman. It's just Nicky Lopez had a great year for that in their minds, and Whit Merrifield is a utility guy. He could play anywhere. They could put Whit Merrifield at third base. They can put him in right field. So I don't think Munasai is going to play third base going forward. Whit did play right field at the end of the season, which as I was saying. Tigers, a lot of times this year, Jonathan Scope playing first base and Willie Castro playing second base, and even Willie in left field. Willie Castro's not a left fielder, and he's a shortstop. Play him as shortstop. Zach Short, Paredes, Harold Castro, Nico Goodrum, they're all super utility guys. I saw them make some good defensive plays. I saw Harold Castro and Paredes, maybe it was Paredes twice, making great plays, once at second base and one at third base. That's where they belong, anywhere on the diamond. If you want to play somebody first base, you play Candelario at first base, and you play one of these utility guys at third base, because Scope should be at least allowed to play second base. He's not a horrible second baseman. I saw a game where he played first base. He made a bad play at first base. Like, what is he doing, okay? And then Urena and Drew Hutchison and Michael Fulmer, they should all be starting because they're Tigers. Best pitcher Boyd has been hurt all year. I don't really know if they have 5 great pitchers, so some of those guys should have started, okay? And then I know you wanted to get Eric Haas back in the lineup, but in a game I watched yesterday, he was in left field and Harold Castro was at first base. What is Harold Castro? A shortstop utility player. You throw him in the outfield, for God's sake. You put Haas at first base because I saw him, he misplayed a ball, man. And Nico Goodrum DHing is a waste when he also said you could DH Haas. Like, what are you doing? Nico Goodrum has a lot of experience playing the outfield. The White Sox. Luis Robert, I saw him driving so many runs this year, batting second or leadoff, when he could bat lower in the lineup and drive in more. Then I saw a game where Ronaldo Lopez came in, and man, it was raining, and he just blew the game away. The game was over. Keuchel came in, blew the game, the Sox came back. What you've learned is Dallas Keuchel is not a relief pitcher, and Ronaldo Lopez, as good as he was this year's reliever, you can't rely on that full time. Then the Cubs. Schwindel has been good enough at first base for them, but they've had to play Patrick Wisdom and this Rivas guy in the outfield when they're both first basemen. I'm going to say this. Schwindel's not a number 2 hitter. He should be batting in the middle of the lineup if you don't have a lot of power guys. And then Ian Happ, he's been good enough hitter for them the last 2 years, but he's not a middle of the order hitter. And Wilson Contreras is your only guy left that you had from your original team of players. Bat him in the middle of the lineup. Leading off is so dumb, especially when he's a catcher. He's not the fastest guy either. Rafael Ortega did a nice job this year batting leadoff when he started. That's good. Cardinals, Goldschmidt probably got 120-something RBI. If you just batted him third or fourth, not this 2-spot thing. And then Rondon, dude, is a utility shortstop, so he can play the outfield, but let him play the infield. Diamondbacks. Adalto Varsho, he's in the lineup because of his bat. Does not mean he's a middle of the order hitter, and if you're going to play in the outfield, center field is not where he belongs, but you have Cole Calhoun Peralta, so that's kind of where, like, well, I don't know where else to put him. Pavin Smith, the other hand, is blocked the first bat of Christian Walker and those corner guys, but again, he's not a center fielder, bro. Just have him come off the bench. And then Van Meter, if you're going to play this dude, play him in center field, even though he's not a center fielder, so you don't have to take guys like Rojas, Marte, etc., throw them in the outfield when they're not outfielders. And Ketel Marte got to play second base till the end of the season. Just keep him there, man. Padres. Adam Frazier is not an outfielder. Fernando Tatis is not an outfielder. Noah Jerkson Profar. I think between Jake Marisnick and Trent Grissom and Will Myers and Tommy Pham, you have enough outfielders, okay? I know you have Kim and Machado and Tatis and Frazier and all these guys just mentioned in the infield, and there's nowhere to put them. But when it comes to first base, if you're not going to play Eric Hosmer, don't play Cronenworth and don't play Profar. Play Will Myers and get him out of the outfield, okay? And then Cronenworth is not a middle of the order hitter. We went over this. And then Dilson Lamet, I saw he was a starting pitcher for most of the year, and then he got hurt. He's not a relief pitcher. I don't know what you're doing there. Giants, Darren Ruff, I know you play him in left field when there's no room at first base, but stop doing that. He's also not a number 2 hitter. He should bat in the middle lineup. Because then when you have Brandon Crawford and Lamonte Wade Jr. batting third or fourth, that's not where they belong. And Chris Bryant, again, is not an outfielder. Angels, Ohtani is not a number 2 hitter. You lost so many guys this year. Rendon, Trout, and Upton. You don't have any middle of the order hitters except for Jared Walsh. So it's like, well, what are you going to do? Oh, yeah, let's bat Ohtani lead off for a second. And then Phil Gosselin, like Rojas, like Rengifo, like Keenan Wong, like Taylor Ward, you name it. They played a gluttony of infielders and a catcher in the outfield because Dexter Fowler got hurt, and I said Upton got hurt, Trout got hurt. They scrambled through both John J. Scott Shovel and Juan Lagares this year. They picked up Adam Eden. They took forever to call up Mr. Joe Adell, and then he got hurt. So it's like they just like maybe if they called Joe Adell earlier, it would have been a good idea. But they played so many infielders in the outfield because they last year had so many injuries in the outfield. They thought it would happen this year. They were trying to be safe, and it happened again. Okay, Mariners, Ty France. I'm glad you're no longer batting Haniger second, but Ty France is not a number 2 hitter. Abraham Charles not a second baseman. And Torrens DHing him is a waste when you got guys who could DH or play first base. And J.P. Crawford leading off has been the correct move, okay? Brewers, Eduardo Escobar playing first base is kind of a stretch when you have Tellez, Vogelbach, and Keston Hiura. That's just too many guys. Trey Turner, you got him for speed and batting the top lineup, not batting third. Bellinger playing center field, Matt Beattie playing right field, Gavin Lux playing the outfield. You got 2 first basemen and a shortstop. You have so many outfielders, okay? You got super utility man Chris Taylor as well. This team has enough guys in the outfield that those guys don't even play center field. Okay? Mookie Betts playing second base is pretty stupid when I just list. You got Gavin Lux and you got all these dudes who can play second base. Okay? Austin Barnes, a catcher. Why is he playing second base? The Dodgers going all out in stupidity at the end of the year. And David Price been got a bullpen, man. Clayton Kershaw's hurt. You need him to get some innings as a starter. Phillies, Bohm is not a number 2 hitter. He's a power guy. So seems to have a bullpen for the Rockies when they don't have enough starting pitching is silly. And the Rays, Brandon Lyle's not a leadoff hitter. 2 is good, 3 is good, but I saw him batting 5th or 6th once or twice. That's not a bad spot. Wander Franco is a rookie. Don't put all the pressure on batting him in the middle of the lineup. And then Colin McHugh, you paid him to be a starting pitcher. Stop having him come out of the bullpen. Okay, thanks for listening to the final week of the 2021 season, week 27 of MLB Observations. There will be like a wild card, division series, and a World Series recap after all those complete. Thanks for listening to another edition. For On the Radar Tay Blog, I'm Radar. See you guys next time.